So I was on the way out, fished the oil platform over here, and we noticed we got this trawl boat fishing out here, pretty deep water, and we don't see them a whole lot, but they do hold real big tuna on them sometimes. It's in blue water right now, so we decided to check it out. They've got birds working in the area, and we're seeing a few bonita jumping, and see a few big sharks around. They're pulling up their nets right now, so sometimes when the nets pull up, the tuna will come to them, but we're throwing out a few live baits right now, just pitching a few out, just to see if anything comes up. With the blue water, a lot of times they'll come up right beside the boat and we can see them. A lot of times the yellowfin will be over 100 pounds on these boats, and when they get the nets up, they have bycatch and stuff. We can get some bycatch from them, and but as of right now, we'll just use the baits that we got, which is typically fine. But the bycatch, you can kind of get a chum select going if you do have some fish in the area, and you can work them away from these nets and cables. That way you don't have to worry about breaking the fish off into the cables, because they will make long runs. The guys on the boat, we spoke to them a second ago, and they said that they did see some tuna on the boats yesterday and earlier this morning. So we've got a shot. You know, we're gonna check it out. We'll give it a little while and see. We don't want to waste too much time. We'll get on our tuna bite hopefully here earlier in the morning, but we're gonna give it a shot here and see if we can pick up any tuna or see some action anyway. Tripled up. We got stuff going everywhere. Got one on the popper, on the spinning rod. Got one on a 50 wide, one on a 30 wide. Mitch has got one line going out of the back on the Talica. Stuff everywhere. Can't beat it though. That drag seems like it's tight enough. One of the bad things about having this many fish on is it's easy for them to get wrapped up, because tuna, as they're coming up, they're gonna circle. So as they start circling, so as these lines get here, guys, just try to keep them separated. And if you got one that's going under or over, then just bring that rod. Even if that guy has to come all the way to the back and you gotta go all the way to the front, you just wanna do everything in your power to keep them from crossing, because once the lines cross, then if one runs, it's gonna cut through the other line. It'll happen just as soon as he runs sometimes. So that's the only bad thing. And a lot of times I like to have, like we got 3 fish hooked up right now. We got 2 on one side of the boat, 1 on the other. That's not ideal. I would rather have them all on one side of the boat. It's just the way it happened with this one. We may walk this one around the front here in a second. But if you do get them wrapped up, if you've got them on the same side of the boat, at least you can run the lines together real quick and try to figure out which way they're wrapped and try to get them unwrapped. Because if they wrap up, it's a bad deal. Like this one's starting to get close right now. Come, walk this way, come on. Come on, come on, come on. Which way is it wrapped? All right, you go underneath. Which way is it going? All right, come back, you go back underneath him, go. And we're gonna try to separate them. They're rolling on you at the same time. Once we get them separated, go that way.
Hey, we need to walk the front. Hey, walk around the back. And got this one. And that one. Walk around the motor.
Just have to do the little tuna dance there. All right, you can put it in the rod holder. I think he swallowed that one. Just have to watch those motors on that one. I see we don't try to get y'all too close. We'll probably walk you up a little bit there. Watch them, watch them. Come this way. Bring your lines together. All right, you're gonna have to go all the way. You go back, probably. All right, you're good. Come this way. You go to the front with the spinning rod. I got your tee coming. Here, you're good. Just walk up to the front and try to separate them. Just try to hit him in the belly there. Good job. Cool. Grab some pliers and I'll get out of your way. We'll get that gaff out of there. Just stick it in the rod holder. Just hold the line. Let me get that brainer.
Walk up the front. Sure. Hey, I'll switch back. You go back in front.
That's sick.
Yeah, that's an awesome bite. Especially, did you see him explode on it?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the best thing. Typically, we would take this thing out of here before doing this, just to have the hooks out of the way. We're trying to just get a few pictures with it in there. But this is just brains the fish, and kind of cuts down, because tuna, after you catch them, they'll start to produce heat throughout the meat. So by killing the fish, it'll shut down his system and keep him from producing as much heat throughout the meat, and it'll really preserve the meat and give you better meat quality. So we do it a lot on bigger fish. On smaller fish, it just depends on if we've got enough time. A lot of times we have stuff coming over the gunnel pretty quick, like right now. But we try to kill as many as we can. Like right by the eyes there's a soft spot in the top of the head, and typically we'll get about a 45-degree angle where that soft spot is. It's a little bit packed. Sometimes it takes a little while to find it, but he'll normally let you know when you hit it. And that should be it for him.
Now, are you bleeding these fish as well?
We bleed a lot of the bigger ones. It's good to bleed all of them, okay. But we normally have a lot of stuff going on, and sometimes we don't get around to it. On the bigger fish, we will. On smaller fish, if I've got time, we will. But I like to kill as many of them as I can. It definitely, by killing them and by bleeding them, you can just get right there in the gills, and you can just cut the gills there and just let them bleed in the fish pox. But they're definitely fighting really hard right now. The fish that size, sometimes it's like they fight really hard, and sometimes you get them in relatively quick. But they're fighting with a lot of heart right now today. But we use a bunch of different type of poppers. Some are bigger, some are smaller. It just depends on, we're trying to match the bait that they're using, that they're eating on. So we try to match that a lot of times. But most of the time, a lot of us just have go-to poppers that we use. We use, some OTI poppers a lot, and we use some Frenzy poppers. And this is kind of a new popper we're just starting to use. It might have been one of that first yellowfins we've actually caught on this popper. So we'll see. It's a smaller, it swims real good. It has more of a swimming action than some of the other poppers that we use. So the local guy actually makes them, and with Striker. And so we're trying them out and see how they work. So far, so good. Yeah, just hit him in that belly if he comes up. Yeah, that's a little bit better fish there. Got a good one coming up over here. Take the motors. Yep. All right, you take that off and stick it in the rod holder. Cool deal. Sometimes you just stick them like that and they just roll over. Sometimes they're about to snatch the gaff out of your hand. That's by far the best fish that we've put in the boat so far. That's probably 80, 90 pounds, I guess. It's a 6/0 Mustad 39950. They tend to work, man. They get right there in the corner of that mouth. He was hooked right there in the corner, perfect. Keeps it away from all the teeth. Can't beat a circle hook for tuna fishing. I'd like to welcome you to In the Spread today. We're in Venice, Louisiana. I'm Josh Howard, captain here with Deep South Charters. And today we spent most of the day yellowfin tuna fishing. Spent most of the day live chumming with live pogies. We were going to fish structure, oil platforms floating platforms, different structures there we have in the Gulf that hold most of our tuna. That's what we fish on a daily basis. We do fish some natural bottom here, but most of the time we're fishing oil platforms, drill ships, stuff of that nature. So that was the plan today, but we do fish a few trawl boats here and there, mostly in the fall time, but every now and then if we see one, we'll check it out, and that's exactly what happened today. We were heading out offshore, and I guess about 5 or 6 miles from our destination, we spotted a deep water trawler, I guess about 5 or 6 miles past where we were going to go, and decided we'd check it out just to see, because sometimes they have some really big fish on them this time of year. And we didn't see any monsters that we were looking for, but it was a happy surprise. The boat was loaded with fish. We were able to hook up almost immediately, and kept that action going most of the day. We did a little bit of live chumming. It wasn't a necessity, but it definitely helped get the bite going, and by throwing out just a lot of bait on the surface, it gets the fish into a frenzy and keeps the action going most of the time. We were able to hook up 2 and 3 at a time. Had we putting out 6, 7 baits, I think we'd have hooked every one of them up. But we didn't want to take a chance of wrapping them all up. We got a few wrapped anyway, but we didn't want to take a chance of getting a big mess and breaking a bunch of fish off. So we kept it at 3 max most of the day. And but we had 2 to 3 on almost the entire time we were there. We kept 12 yellowfin today, and released several more. Definitely couldn't ask for any better. We were looking for yellowfin tuna, and we were in blue water. You could see all the action. You could see the fish coming up. You could see the fish coming up as they were getting close to the boat in gaff range. So a lot of excitement in the way we presented baits today. A lot of times we'll fish with other baits throughout the summer, as far as like big eye scad, hardtail, which is a blue runner. We'll see threadfin herring, some different little tinker mackerels and disco minnows and stuff of that nature. But for today, a lot of that bait hasn't matured yet. The summer, we're just now in mid-May, so I guess about another 3 or 4 weeks, we'll have a lot of bait in full swing, but right now we don't have that much bait available. But we do have pogies that we can find on a daily basis right now, and we can get them with cast nets and get a pretty good pile. They don't live that well in the blue water because the salinity really eats them up. They're more of a green water fish. If we fish in green water all day, those pogies will stay alive most of the day. When we're fishing in blue water, then our time is limited. We'll have to get them out there and do what we're going to do with them before they start to die. Today we were in blue water, but we had a short run. We were probably no more than 20 miles, 25 miles offshore.